Hi, I'm just going to show you how dangerous a reflected XSS vulnerability can be. And the purpose is not to show you how you can exploit it. I'm not going to show you any code, just to make you aware of how dangerous it can be, because I've been in conversations with people who don't realize what can be done with it. First thing, I'm not going to use a real product with an existing vulnerability. I've got my own little plugin. It's simply going to grab a URL parameter and echo it to the screen. And to test that that's working, I've added this JavaScript to the end of the URL. Let's visit it, and bingo, the JavaScript's executing. We have an exploit here. Now, the first thing that people ask me, or that I have been asked about this is, well, if you're adding code to the end of it, who's going to click that when they can see the code there? Leaving aside the fact that many people won't actually see the code there, I could run this URL through a URL shortener. And I've tested this with a very prominent URL shortener, and all the JavaScript remains intact and works afterwards. The second thing that people then raise is, well, if you're sending someone a shortened URL, you could send them anywhere. What's the big deal about sending them to this page with this vulnerability? I could send them to my Viagra website or to my malware site or anywhere. Well, the thing with this is, because there's an exploit on here, if an attacker and I were to target the person who owned the site, I could actually trick them into getting their admin details, for example. And there's probably many other things you can do, but here's one example of something you could do. I'm going to add some extra code to the end. I won't tell you what it is. It's not hard to work out. And if I wrap this up in a bit.ly link and I emailed it to you saying, hey, there's a problem with your website, check it out, and the link, would you click it? You know, probably if you get a tweet saying that, you would. So when you click that, it takes you to your site, but it hasn't taken you to a page with a problem on it. It's taken you to your login page. What's going on here? That's strange, you think. But you look up at the URL and it's WP admin, so maybe that's right. Or I could have set that to the longer logged in, etc. Are you going to put your details in here? Yes or no? And take a second and try and answer that honestly. In real life, if you've got a URL like this saying there was a problem. Now you might be wondering what happened, why it didn't work, but you might be thinking there's a problem with my site. If I log in, it might help. So let's, for argument's sake, you do log in and you put in your password 1, 2, 3, 4 I'll use. That was a wrong decision because you've just sent me your username and password. Now I can go down here and change it to 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 this time, and it's actually really getting the password from that field, and I can do whatever I want in JavaScript with it. A real attacker would not be popping up an alert message showing you that they've got your password. They would just send that to their server and you wouldn't even know what happened. You wouldn't log in, you'd wonder what went wrong, you'd move on, but you wouldn't know that someone had got your password. Now, and that's just an example I wanted to show you what could be done and how someone could exploit this. In fact, it looks like my admin page, my login page, but it's not. I've just used JavaScript to build my own login form, and I've used JavaScript to change the URL in the address bar to trick you into thinking it's the right spot. Now, in my example, I've lost the folder name because I'm using localhost. That wouldn't happen on a real site. This is an excellent advertisement for two-factor authentication, by the way. Because if someone has your username and password but not your two-factor authentication code, they can't log in. And it's probably also a good reason to only ever log in if you've manually put the URL in yourself. Now anyway, I just hope that has shown you how dangerous reflected XSS could be. And I would just like you to, if you're a user, please keep everything up to date. You may have plugins, themes, where the developers are patching issues just like this all the time. Make sure you keep them up to date. And developers, of course, you need to take security seriously, although I'm sure you know that already. All right, thank you very much for your time.